All right, so in the time lapse there, you probably saw me finish off what is going to become my coil jar. I added these little triangle details. There we go. Okay, you can see that one there, there's one there, and then I got 3 of them on there. And then I use coils to create the the lid of my project. And then what I did is I turned it upside down and just did a light drawing or light trace of the outline of the outside of my lid, or of the top of my jar. All right, the reason why I did that is so that I know where to put the coil that's going to go on the inside of this, so that it'll go fit in here and that'll keep it from sliding around. Okay, so one thing I do have to kind of keep in mind is that I need to have this width, okay, in here in addition to where I put my coil. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lay this coil right along that outline. All right, and this should be pretty close. It doesn't really matter what pieces I use. This isn't going to actually be the interior part of it. This is just going to represent the inside, okay, or the top edge of this part of my jar. Okay, makes sense? Hopefully. All right, so now what I'm going to do, all right, is I'm going to draw another line. All right, and that should be the inside of where my edge is going to be for the bottom of my lid, so that I have an area where it's not going to slide around on here. Okay, so now what I want to do is I'm going to cut a coil that's going to fit to that size. Make sure I got a big enough one, give it a couple rolls, make sure it's nice and smooth before I attach it. All those kinds of things have to go into your thought process as you begin this. Okay, make sure that you're concentrating and thinking about those kinds of things. All right, I'm just going to set that here. This is just a dry fit so that I can make sure that it's going to fit right before I start attaching things. And if I do make it a little bit on the bigger side, that's not a big deal. I can always take away more. While it's soft, in theory, yeah, you know what? I could also add to it if I really wanted to, but I kind of want to, save time and get this right the first time. Okay, so that should fit just inside of my jar here. Okay, just like that. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and smooth that in. And this time we're going to smooth it on both the inside of the seam, or the edge, and the outside. This particular coil doesn't really matter what it looks like as far as is it perfectly round, does it match the other textures that I see on the other thing. Okay, this is more just a way of making sure that my lid fits nice and snug. It's not going to slide around if somebody picks it up or moves it around, those kinds of things. So I attach it there. The one thing I will do is I will go back in here and I will clean up all these little tool marks that I've created. Okay, because the first thing somebody does when they pick up a lid off of a jar or something like that, they usually look at the bottom of it to see what it looks like underneath. Okay, so that's something to just kind of keep in mind as you're working on attaching this here. Now, nice thing is a lot of those lines that I created when I was doing a little bit of an outline, okay, they're going to get covered up by the tool marks that I'm leaving here. Almost done. Okay. Now comes the difficult part. I didn't put any newspaper down on this, so it's trying to stick on me. I don't want to curve it or bend it as much as possible. So you guys are getting the best first look at it. Okay. I'll connect these a little bit, clean up that a little bit. All right. Well, let's see how this fits. And the first fit usually doesn't go perfectly. Okay. And as I can see here, yep, it's not quite the same size. It's not quite fitting exactly right. So it's going to take some fine tuning and some cleanup. I do know that I've got plenty of clay here, all right? So I'm not that concerned about it. So I can use my finger and just kind of smear the outside edge, all right, where all those little tool marks were, and see if I can't get this to fit a little bit better. Now I'm also trying to keep this as flat as possible. I used, in the time lapse, hopefully you saw, I tapped it down upside down, much in the same way we did with the mugs, with a lot of different projects where we want to flatten things out on the top, okay? But I flattened it out like that so that I know that I've got a flat surface here, so that way when I make my lid, I want to make it as flat as I possibly can also, okay? I think that's a little bit sharper there. All right. So I just kind of smoothed that out. I'm going to get rid of that line that I created when I did the first outline. And if you come up with a quicker or faster way of doing this, by all means go for it. As long as you get the result that you're looking for, that's really all that matters. All right, so let's try this again. And aha, look at that. That is a much better fit. Everything's nice and flat. Now, once this gets leather hard and is a little bit more firm, then obviously I can do a little bit more with it as far as cleanup and making sure that it fits perfectly and it doesn't slide around. While it's wet like this, it's going to be a little bit difficult to get that to fit just perfect, but I wanted to make sure I got something at least there. Now, I did add that little detail of the triangle on top, okay, just like I did on the sides, all right, just to kind of add a little continuity there, bring in that theme, a little unity, okay. So what I am going to do is I'm going to clean this up a little bit more, and then I'll attach the handle. But I'll show you, save that one for the next video.